all have a lot of good things to say. We want to respect everybody's opinion, allow the board to continue without disruption. Can we all do that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Iniguez, were you done with your presentation? I'm not sure if anybody else has any additional questions.
He had a couple more slides.
Okay.
So, 2 more slides, thank you very much. So I was speaking about the cost specifically of surveillance cameras, which would fall within one particular form of obtaining it, which is called formal bidding. And so the estimated cost based on current economy, parts, labor, equipment for one camera would be $45,000. We could use geo bonds for that. Then after cost for maintaining that and being able to access the video that's generated from that camera is approximately $18,000 per year just for the monitoring services. We don't charge that. That is the going economy. And with that, what we do have on this agenda tonight is a request for the board to allow the district to take out what is known as a request for proposal, which would then allow us to go out and take to the public and ask for a more accurate estimate so that the board then has more accurate information to take that into consideration to see if that's what it wants to do in terms of prioritizing the bond funds. And with the last slide here, specifically with the new bonds, which are KKLM. Yeah, thank you. So what we have, as I said earlier, at the next board meeting, we are planning to ask the board for approval to issue the first series of those geo bonds. And then second to that, we do have scheduled here on November 18th, a meeting here with the board to have a workshop in terms of considering what are the priorities for the district by way of needs. So with that, thank you. If there are no other questions, thank you very much.
I have something to add.
Yes.
Because I remember the measures T and U was passed in 2020.
Yes, 2020.
Okay, and we made, we had specialists that came out and made meetings at the schools regarding what is it, and we sent out questionnaires to the community as to what they wanted, and this is why we came up with what we were gonna use as money through the TNU, and also on the register of voters. We can't use it for what we wanted was, at that time, we didn't want a school. We wanted to redo some of the needs at some of the older schools. And I was looking at it and I thought, yeah, I remember that we did go out to the community, we did do a questionnaire for that. And the community did respond. And that's why we went to these, which was 52,985,000. So if it wasn't for TNU, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that are now coming to be used because of med school, because of the fire empty lot.
Right.
And I don't think people here, some of them complain, why don't we build the school? Well, that's what we wanted. But at that time, because we had a superintendent that demolished the whole lot, if he would have left one wall, the state would have helped us build the school. But we couldn't afford to build another school. But the community wanted what we have now. Building a community center, maybe something for special ed, maybe something for preschool, and maybe something for the community to utilize also. So I don't think a lot of these people understand, but people that were here for these measures, that lived here in our community, voted for it. And that's what we're doing. Now, I know there's a lot of ideas, you wanna do this and that, but we have to go by what we gave our community to vote on. And their vote is what counts, not your opinion now. And I know there's a lot of new people in the area, for the area that's up there in Ocean Hills. They will have an opportunity to also be involved and decide, like we've always done. So I want to declare that because sometimes I have people ask me, I go, did you leave her at that time? No, see, that's the thing. But at the time, you can still see what we're doing and give us your opinion. Let us know. So I just wanted to clarify that because I remember we were involved and I remember that they did go out to the school, they did go out to the community. And if not, then that's why we sent out a questionnaire and asked their opinion. So it's not something we made up. No, it's something that the community wanted, and that's what we should do. So I just wanted to
agree.
know.
Dr. Munoz, again, one question.
Yes.
Maybe you don't have this information quite in front of you, but I just gotta tell you, like, as a taxpayer, I hear you saying $45,000 for labor on one camera. That sounds outrageous. Can you just like break that down for us? Maybe not today at another meeting. I don't want you to also guess at it. I want actual, how do we get to that number?
Yes, the answer is yes, but if I may point out, if you go back to this one here, which is why one of the things we're asking the board to do is to allow us to take out a request for proposal, which will do exactly that. We will bring back cost estimates from multiple vendors, which would then verify that, in fact, that is the cost, and it's not just Jose and Ega sitting up here telling the board this is what the going rate. And I don't question you for asking that, because this is what we want. We want to be as transparent as possible. I just wanted to make a connection to why we're asking the board to allow us to take out the request for proposal, so that we can get the most up-to-date cost for this. That is our current estimate.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I have one question and comments. So the first one is, so you are saying we can take money from the bonds, and the board and the bond committee can agree on having that fund, part of that funding to other things like adding cameras to our schools?
Well, the answer to your question, generally speaking, is the bond language essentially is what dictates what is quote unquote allowable by way of expenditure. And so if you look at this slide, it does indicate more or less what those categories are. And so, for example, LL, I'll just pick one, specifically to those two schools, it does definitely say security, safety.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna,
Sure.
about TNU.
Oh, I'm sorry, TNU. So if you look above at the categories there, it focuses mostly on,
School security,
well, yeah,
safety,
yeah,
exactly.
yes.
So then it does allow us to take funds from the bonds to pay for cameras in our schools?
Well, let me say this. Yes, the language does. However, we cannot, it's inextricable from the process that has already been taken. That is to say, the language does allow for that, but the process that the board has taken, right?
So
The
we can
funds.
change that. I mean, that's why the board is here. The board can make this type of changes. Yes, we can. That's why we're here for it. That's why we're here for it. And also to clarify, yes, the board voted for a long measure that says a lot of things, but I will quote the beginning of the measures. TNU says, the beginning, it says to make student safety and school security improvements. So by having cameras, we will make them secured and safe. And then the other thing is, and thank you for clarifying that, Mr. Enriquez. And also, I understand that the community did had ideas, and they did talk about these ideas and projects, but until this day, I have been requesting for months for the proper documentation I want to see where, how, when, who gave these ideas from our community. The same community that Ms. Lopez is saying. I want to see how was that made. I know there was a document, the LMF or something like that. What is it?
Long Range Master Facility Plan.
Okay, yes. And I don't see the community's input in that only document that I was provided. I know there was a YouTube meeting of the board, and there was a public comment that was submitted by email by, I don't know, no more than 10 people. And I don't know, is that the community that you're talking about? 10 people giving ideas of what they want, and then at the end of the day, we did anything that we agree on? I mean, that's for me, that's not community engagement, I'm sorry. And also, I was triggered about the Raptor services that we approved. When is that gonna start? Because we did approve it for all the schools, and this is a security system that will allow parents to get it inside of the schools without any problems. So
Yes.
how is that being processed right now?
Absolutely. So you brought up a lot of issues. First, when I say committed, it's my responsibility as staff to inform the board. When I say committed, it's not just in principle. We're talking about legally binding contracts, as you see right in front of you, that have already been effected and implemented, and they are committed officially, legally. It's not a matter of, can we just take it back? These are legally binding
Okay, but
contracts
maybe we
that the
can,
board has approved. That I'm just giving you.
I understand. I mean, the community resource center, the Bayer Community Resource Center hasn't even started. I know it already, they're checking on the land and stuff like that, but they haven't built any single wall. And I'm not saying to not build it, but maybe to take funds from that and maybe delay a part of it.
Yeah.
So we can have cameras in our schools. I don't need to repeat it. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the board can make those type of changes or whatever we can do to work it out as a team, as long as we do this change. And and also the bid process that you were talking about. When the bid meeting or the bid process that is open to the public, so that's new to me, I didn't know that, that's good. So I am also proposing for this bid process to be, for the date to be shared with our local community so they can also have an opportunity to be part of our local district contract. If we can do that as well, that's an official request. And that's it.
Okay, so you asked me, first of all, the bid, we're not using bids for construction. So just to clarify, we're using a different approach, which
Or contract, sorry. I said contract.
right. So you also asked me about Raptor. So we implemented as soon as this board directed staff to do so. And so we have our training scheduled for staff next week. As a matter of fact, it's going to be on Wednesday or Thursday, I forget exactly which, at 3:30. So we have that. The equipment is already at the site. So we are essentially ready to go to answer the board members' questions.
That was an answer. Okay.
So if there
So
are,
yeah, two requests. I don't know if you want me to repeat it or I can always send an email.
well, I mean, we took notes, and so how we go about that is something that we will address.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, Dr. Nunez.
Thank you. Absolutely, thank you. Thank-
Dr. Nunez, just to be clear, it's my recollection that on August 14th at a public board meeting, you did provide a presentation on general obligation bond overview information.
Yes,
Okay. And I believe that that presentation is on our district's website, and that has much of the information that can be shared with the public. It's already on our website.
yes.
Thank you so much
It
for
is.
doing that.
Thank you for reminding me about Dr. Potter, because I also remember that I asked if we can share it through the whole district in our district-wide email that we always send this type of presentations. So if we can do that for every presentation like this one, since they're not in the agendas, they're not the links, we don't have the access to the to the presentations. These type of presentations, I think we should be sending to our community.
Yes.
Thank you, Board Member Peraza. I think the information on the district's website under the Bond Oversight Committee has much of the information. But
Dr. Inigas, I do have a question related to, because I think a lot of confusion as to the transparency of the community park, resource center. Was that, just for clarifying it to the public, was that on the ballot in terms of the description of the ballot when it was voted on by the voters?
Yes, and in fact, when we had a board presentation.
I remember that presentation.
Yeah, at Willow.
Remind me again what the percentage of votes that passed regarding that measure?
It was significant. It was upwards of 70. I'm sorry, I forget the exact, yes.
may I help?
Thank you, Dr. Potter.
Thank you, Dr. Inigas. Yes, I believe on slide 3 of the board presentation that was on August 14th, it indicated that on the ballot measure for measure T, I believe on pages 8 for measure T and page 8 on the ballot for measure U, in quotes that the projects to be financed by the bonds to be issued by the district include the construction, rehabilitation, acquisition, equipping, and furnishing of the following existing schools and facilities, former Fire school locations. Also on pages T9 and measures U9, it added space for school support programs, including dedicated offices, conference rooms, family resource centers, and other support areas. Measure T passed by the voters of 77%, and Measure U passed by the voters of 69%.
So then, Dr. Potter, I guess the question I have for you is how many total voters voted for that in comparison to those who opposed it? But I think it'll bring clarity. And I think the notion of transparency, if anything, the voters are the ones who approve that. That's as transparent as you can get.
This was a voter-approved project according to the ballot measure, and the project was embedded within the ballot.
Of course. I guess the question is, maybe we can look it up because it's read through the register of voters anyway in past election. But it'd be good to know the percentage, obviously we know it, but the amount of voters that actually approved the project. Because theoretically, again, going to the fact that this actually was in the little booklets that we received before we vote, then the reality is it was clear as to what we're going to be building, and this is not arbitrary.
It was not specific only to this. It could be anything in that ballot measure language. But yeah.
I would actually like to make a motion to move the agenda forward. We have a really long night ahead of us. Thank you very much.
I second.
Well, we wouldn't make a motion, you just give that recommendation.
You don't vote on the
Right.
presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Norris.
Now we will continue. Number 10, public comment, communications on open session items. I'd like to call forward Ms. Elba de Vaca.
A ver, ponerlo en esto que grabe, en public comment. Should I put it right there? A ver si no me regañan.
Yeah, right there, but wait.
I know.
Put the chair like right here and just record it.
Good evening. I'm Elba de Vaca. I served in this community for over 30 years. And I still continue to serve part-time and very proudly. And today, with these hardworking teachers that stand behind me, we are in alignment and in coherence in heart and mind with the message of my esteemed friend and colleague, Juanita Nunez, Teacher of the Year for San Diego County 2022. So I will be delivering the message for her using my voice, but it is her words. So I'm going to show everybody how beautiful Juanita is. So,
That's not important.
Like the one national
I-
that was teacher.
I have had the privilege of teaching in our district for 24 years. I work with our youngest learners as their sci-fi teacher from kindergarten through second grade. And I also support students with special needs district-wide. Each day, I come to work with joy, a compassionate heart, and a firm belief in the power of education to transform lives. I want to take a moment to recognize and thank someone who embodies the heart and soul of our district, Dr. Gina Potter, Superintendent of San Isidro. Dr.
So
Potter's,
I'm gonna stop you right there. No comments, please. Give the respect to the speaker, please. If we hear that again, then I'm gonna call a recess again. When you talk, when you have a chance to talk, I'm gonna give them the same respect. So I just wanna let you know that. No more comments, no more side comments. This is your last warning.
I
I'm gonna let
didn't
you
say
know right
anything.
now. I don't know who did it,
But you're
don't-
looking at me.
Don't interrupt the speaker. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Don't
Okay,
interrupt the
but
speaker.
you're looking at me, I didn't say nothing.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna, this is the
We're
last
hearing
time.
the comments.
I
We
hear
can hear
one.
the I know.
should I continue?
Yes, please.
Thank you for that. Dr. Potter's leadership and professionalism has made a profound difference in our schools. She has guided us through many changes and challenges since 2018, always with our students' best interests at the forefront. She listens to our concerns, collaborates with us to find solutions, and ensures that we have what we need to teach effectively across all 5 elementary schools. Her unwavering support for our science, technology, engineering, and math program have empowered our teams to innovate, grow, and reach every learner. Our sci-fi team has won many awards at the county and national levels. These recognitions and accolades have been possible because of Dr. Potter's vision, leadership, support for our innovative, hardworking, and dedicated sci-fi teachers. Together, we have accomplished things no one thought possible. We have engaged and challenged our students with diverse needs and abilities to see themselves as scientists, as problem solvers, and as good human beings participating in science fairs and fun color runs, all made possible through partnerships with industry leaders and organizations throughout San Diego County. The time is up, I'm so sorry.
But they stopped me.
No, but they paused
Yeah, they did pause.
so I really think that her speech is very important, so we can do part 2 on our next board meeting. We'd be very happy to continue listening to the rest of her speech. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Pablo, sign, Peretti. Community member, non-agenda item. Sorry, who's gonna translate?
Unless you want to bring a silent interpreter. Okay. Octubre es el mes de la herencia italiana estadounidense. Durante este mes celebramos las contribuciones de los inmigrantes italianos que, sin hablar el idioma inglés, enfrentando discriminación, dieron todo por este país. Soy italo-mexicano estadounidense. En mi nueva novela incluyo un poema en honor a mi bisabuelo, Giacomo Ferretti Napolitani. Él era originario de Sicilia, aunque vivió en Nápoles, Calabria y Toscana. El poema también rinde homenaje a su hija, abuela Sofia Ferretti. October is Italian American Heritage Month, and during this month, we celebrate the contributions of Italian immigrants who, without speaking English and facing discrimination, gave everything for this country. I'm Italian Mexican American. In my new novel, I include a poem in Italian in honor of my great grandfather, Giacomo Ferretti Napolitani, originally from Sicily, although he lived in Naples, Calabria, and Tuscany. And the poem also pays tribute to his daughter, my grandma, Sofia Ferretti. And I'm gonna share the poem with all of you. And although the novel is in Spanish, I kept it in Italian. Bisnonno. Oh, I forgot my glasses. I mean, Bisnonno. Il mio bisnonno Giacomo Ferretti Napolitani, padre della mia bisnonna Sofia Garibaldi Ferretti, madre del mio nonno Jaime, parlava italiano, con parole che suonavano come un canto, come la costa, come il vento dall'altra parte del mondo. Non ho conosciuto nessuno dei due, sono morti giovani, come le storie che si interrompono prima delle fine. Ma a volte, quando parlo italiano, quella lingua strana che mescola le sue sillabe con le mie, sento qualcosa di loro mi risponde. Nelle mie parole, nelle mie voci un po' rotta e un po' loro. Giacomo e Sofia vivono, come se la lingua fosse un'eredità più profonda del sangue. And this is in honor of all Italian immigrants who came to the US and faced discrimination because of their religion, their language, and sometimes because they had, even though they were from Europe, they were mixed, and they have, so Sicilians, it's like a melting pot of Northern African, Arab, Spanish, and just because of their skin color not being light enough, sometimes they were lynched, they were discriminated, they were called nicknames, and it's an honor to have a lot of, we have Sylvia Meyer, a teacher, I believe she's at Ocean Hills, who's Italian from Italy. And I know that just like her, our ancestors gave everything to our nation. And they lost the language because they were punished many times, just like our Mexican ancestors were punished for speaking Spanish. So, viva l'Italia. Thank you.
Mike Ochoa.
Thank you. I thought I wasn't going to be able to talk, but let me just say briefly before I get into my one page.
Susan, can you please use the microphone? Thank you.
Thank you. I came in from outside and I just came here to basically watch, not judge, listen, observe. And what I found out is that there's a lot of hate going on right now between this side and this side. Now, I was standing with the group that's out there, and I will say I support them. Their concerns, their issues are my concerns. That's a fact, and they should be your concerns. I've had many businesses, and I always told my employees, do you know who your boss is? They said, yeah, you Mike. I said, no, it's those people out there, because those people, without them, I'm not here. This business isn't here. So let's be frank about something. There's more of us than there's of you. So it's important to get along.
Yeah.
And from the words of Rodney King, can't we just all get along? Now, let me read my little one pager. Good evening, members of the board, parents, and community members. My name is Michael Choa, though most people in our community know me as the TJ Kid. Yes, I was born in Tijuana and raised right here in the South Bay, District 8. From San Isidro, Logan Heights, Golden Hills, 2931 East Street, by the way. And today I'm standing before you, not only as a lifelong resident, but as a father, a grandfather, and a concerned citizen who loves this community deeply. I also want to be transparent. I'm running for San Diego City Council District 8, like two of my colleagues up front, by the way, for 2026. But today I'm not here to campaign. I'm here because what happened earlier this year at Sunset Elementary was a complete failure of accountability.
Yes, it was.
In January, a disturbing crime occurred. A young girl was sexually molested by an employee of this district. Yet parents were notified until September. That's 9 months later. 9 months during which the district silence left families in the dark, in trust shattered. Let's call it for what it is, a betrayal of duty. Our children are supposed to be protected, not exposed to predators under the very institutions meant to educate and safeguard them. And the fact that this happened under your watch demands more than just quiet apologies. It demands answers, reform, immediate transparency. This is not about politics.
If you can finish your thought, I'm sorry.
It's not about politics, it's about trust, safety, and accountability. So questions, how?
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's only 3 minutes, just that sentence. I'm very sorry, but we're limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Thank
That's
you
fine, I
very much.
appreciate it. I will close.
Thank you. Roxanne Palestina.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Great job.
Buenas tardes, miembros de la mesa directiva, padres y comunidad de San Isidro. Mi nombre es Roxanne Palestino, madre, defensora y sobre todo una voz que ya no va a quedarse callada. Hoy estoy aquí porque se cruzó una línea que jamás debió haber cruzarse. Cuando un distrito escolar, el mismo al que confiamos a nuestros hijos, elige el silencio sobre la verdad, la apariencia sobre la seguridad y el poder sobre la responsabilidad, eso ya no es liderazgo. Eso es traición a la confianza pública. Durante meses se nos ocultó información. Durante meses los padres preguntamos, pedimos respuestas y lo único que recibimos fueron excusas, mentiras y una palabra que nos ofende profundamente. Incidente de seguridad. Incidente de seguridad, así llama la superintendente algo tan grave, tan indignante. No son rumores, señora Potter. Somos padres, somos familias, somos comunidad y exigimos la verdad. Porque cuando una líder miente, minimiza y protege su imagen en lugar de proteger a nuestros hijos, pierde toda autoridad moral para seguir dirigiendo este distrito. Y no hay disculpa, ni declaración, ni malentendido que pueda borrar eso. La confianza se rompió. Y cuando la confianza se rompe, la única salida digna es la renuncia. No estamos aquí por política. Estamos aquí por los niños, por cada madre que se sienta traicionada, por cada padre que ya no cree en promesas vacías, por cada estudiante que no merece caminar por su escuela con seguridad y sin miedo. Hoy exigimos una investigación independiente, transparencia total y responsabilidad real. Y si la superintendente no tiene la valentía de asumir sus errores, entonces que dé un paso al lado y deje que alguien con integridad lidere este distrito, porque quien calla ante el abuso también es cómplice, y San Isidro ya no acepta cómplices. Good evening, board members, parents, and the San Isidro community. My name is Roxanne Palestino, a mother, an advocate, and above all, a voice that will no longer stay silent. I'm here today because a line has been crossed, one that should have never been crossed. When a school district, the same one we trust with our children, chooses silence over truth, appearances over safety, and power over accountability, that is no longer leadership. That is betrayal of public trust. For months, information was hidden. For months, parents asked questions, demanded answers, and all we received were excuses, lies, and phrases that deeply offend us.
Alfredo. There's no last names.
Alfredo.
Sit down. I just got a little bit of thought. I think that the dude in the middle was what's her name? I can't see from here. I don't got glasses on. Antonio, last name Martinez.
Yeah.
I think you should resign. I think you're unprofessional. I mean, I might be too, but I'm only 18. You're a grown man. You're 8. Like, I got more facial hair than you. I'm not here to insult you, but I think you should resign immediately. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Hello, like Alfredo said here, I'd like to agree that you, Antonio, should resign. If you let that happen in the school district, I don't want to know what happens if you even win city council. You really should resign.
Allison Murillo.
Good evening. I'm here to speak out regarding the atrocities that have occurred in the school district. Atrocities that have occurred because Superintendent Gina Potter and her administration have allowed them to. One such atrocity was the horrific case of sexual abuse against a preschooler that occurred at Sunset Elementary in January of this year. Superintendent Potter, her board, and her administration were aware of this case, yet she ignored her legal obligation to notify parents, as the perpetrator was hired to work at all school sites. It wasn't until September where only parents of the affected classroom at Sunset were notified, quite vaguely, and did not have their questions answered. Later, it was only until parents from the community came to speak out on what had occurred in a public board meeting that Dr. Potter released a vague, lackluster statement on the matter, misleading parents, labeling a case of sexual abuse against a minor as a mere school safety incident. The fact that you thought that you could hide this from parents for 8 months and then deliberately mislead us is one of the many clear examples showing the low regard in which you hold our community's intellect. That's insulting and repulsive. The same was done when I was harassed by a substitute teacher as an 8th grader at Sims, a grown man who asked that I meet him outside of school. I was 13 and terrified of what that teacher could do and questioned whether I was safe at school at all. No proper measures were taken in this alarming case beyond him not returning to my school site. It was then that I lost all trust in the district superintendent and her administration. However, I would like to thank my teacher, Mr. Alvis, for supporting my mother and I during this incident. He's a truly wonderful science teacher. There is another case in which a different substitute teacher who was hired by the district for 30 years also sexually harassed students. Dr. Potter has done absolutely nothing to stop this type of abuse from occurring, but gave us insincere sympathy, allowing it to continue. In all of these cases, Superintendent Potter and the San Ysidro School District Board didn't want to deal with all the necessary changes it would bring to this district and didn't want to deal with such a mark on their reputation. However, ignoring and worse, hiding these acts from families who only want to protect their children is appalling and even downright complicit. How could you possibly find it morally acceptable on your conscience to hide the abuse of children happening on your campuses, especially considering some of you are parents yourselves? How dare you value your image, salary, and position more than our children? I think that's outrageous. You treat us, our children, and our grievances about the issues in this district like a mere inconvenience, as something that blocks you from sitting comfortably or from climbing your political ladder. You truly don't care. You say you do, but you don't. Your actions, your mockery, and your lack of care for the safety of our children, they speak volumes compared to your rhetoric. Superintendent Potter has failed to fulfill her job as superintendent and has failed to keep students safe. You have failed our children. This is why we, the parents, asked Superintendent Potter to resign immediately. And to Board Member Martinez, how dare you claim to be a victim of intimidation when the true victim was that 40-year-old little girl, sexually abused by one of your employees? True victims are the students you don't favor.
Buenas tardes, miembros de la mesa directiva y miembros de la comunidad de San Isidro. Los padres de esta comunidad estamos indignados, molestos y cansados de la manera en que la superintendente y su personal administrativo de este distrito han fallado en proteger y garantizar la seguridad de nuestros hijos. No solamente han ignorado los múltiples casos de bullying en sus escuelas, ahora también los padres hemos sido testigos de cómo un reciente caso grave de abuso hacia una menor, abuso sexual de una menor de 4 años en la escuela Sunset a manos de un asistente de maestro de este distrito fue deliberadamente encubierto por parte de la superintendente y su personal, además de minimizar la gravedad del abuso, llamándolo en repetidas ocasiones un incidente de seguridad, e insistiendo que no fue un delito de violación. El agresor está libre y en calidad de empleado de este distrito hasta el día de hoy. La maestra, la directora y personal a cargo tampoco han recibido ningún tipo de disciplina por parte de este distrito, a pesar de que no siguieron los protocolos para garantizar la protección y seguridad de niños tan pequeños, dejándolos expuestos en manos de un depredador sexual dentro de sus salones, lo cual es inaceptable. Doctora Gina Potter decidió no informar a las familias que Jaime Godínez estuvo contratado para trabajar no solo en Sunset, sino en todas las escuelas de este distrito en diferentes puestos y exponiendo así a más niños y dejando al resto de los padres en la incertidumbre y el temor. En el mes de julio, la superintendente, estando bien consciente del abuso cometido a manos de este agresor, en lugar de informar a las familias de lo ocurrido, decide junto con su personal y miembros de la mesa implementar una política de campus cerrado para restringir totalmente la entrada de los padres a todas las escuelas y advirtiéndonos de multas, incluso cárcel, si no seguíamos su política. Su política es un pase libre para que más depredadores como este actúen libremente, sin supervisión ni la intervención de los padres. Este distrito se ha negado también a poner cámaras de vigilancia en sus escuelas para protección de nuestros niños. Me pregunto por qué. A los padres se nos ha tratado como criminales, siendo perseguidos y expulsados mientras los depredadores son protegidos y justificados. Es altamente ofensivo que después de lo sucedido aún tengan el atrevimiento de celebrarse y premiarse. Es indignante, una falta de respeto para los padres de la víctima y los padres de esta comunidad. A los responsables de tomar acción, a los miembros de la mesa directiva, a los padres de este distrito exigimos el despido de la superintendente, ya que falló y mintió al decir que la seguridad de los niños de este distrito es su prioridad. En sus manos queda el hacer justicia o también ser sus cómplices.
Okay, hello everybody. Teacher and SYA VP and Bargaining Chair. My tonight is to talk about negotiations on behalf of SYA members. I do need to make it clear that SYA is not aligned with this group of people. who seem to have an agenda to destroy public education. We value public education and want to make it better. Although we do not always see eye to eye on all matters with the school district, the school board, or the school district leaders, I appreciate that in the past 9 years or so, we have been able to have an open dialogue with Dr. Potter and her team. This was not possible with many past superintendents. We have had relative stability, improved contract language, some raises, and I truly believe the intention is to create a safe and welcoming school environment. As for the teacher negotiations for this school year, the district really needs to work on creating a budget that values its current and future educators. For as long as I can remember, our district has always been towards the bottom of the lists of county districts as far as how much it contributes to teachers' health care. Currently, we're still among the lowest in the county. Starting in January, all of our singles, except for those in Constanza, Plan, and Tijuana, will have to pay out of pocket for their health care insurance, unless the district contributes more. Families will have to pay over $1,000 a month. I fear we will lose amazing special education teachers. They can go to neighboring districts, get better pay, maybe smaller classes, and sometimes completely free healthcare. I know the district can do better. Another topic is prep time. Elementary school teachers do not have any prep time. Most of us take it home, get to work early, or stay late. We want to create engaging and fun lessons that help the students understand the concept and reach the standards. But this cannot happen without time to prepare and plan. We need to be treated as professionals. Please help the district to understand the importance of prep time. If there is no increase to the health care contribution, many teachers will be receiving a pay cut in January. A pay cut combined with less time to prep and more pressure to perform will hurt the morale and the district, as well as the teachers and students. More prep time on Fridays and during sci-fi time costs nothing at all. Please see how we can fix the situation.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Dear district leadership and board members, I'm actually speaking on behalf of a colleague, and her name is Aurelie Ames, and she cannot be here because she's attending her second job. So I'll be reading off of her comments. Dear district leadership and board members, my name is Aurelie Ames, and I have been a teacher at San Isidro Middle School since 2013. I'm unable to attend this meeting in person because I'm currently working my second job, a job I was forced to take because I simply can't afford to live with my current salary. A colleague will be reading this statement on my behalf. It is deeply discouraging that as an educator in this district, I must work multiple jobs in order to survive and take care of my family. Over the past few years, the cost of housing, groceries, gas, and medical insurance have all risen significantly, yet our pay raises have not reflected these increases. How is it okay that I am paying $1,139.96 for medical insurance a month? Again, that's $1,139.96 a month for medical insurance. That's nearly 13% of my net pay. How can anyone survive like this? The reality is that our salaries have not aligned with the true cost of living in San Diego for many years now, and teachers pour countless hours into preparing lessons, supporting students, and building strong learning communities. We do this because we care deeply about our students and their futures. But it's just disheartening to see that the same level of care doesn't feel reciprocated by the district in ensuring that we can live with financial stability and dignity. When educators are struggling to make ends meet, morale declines, burnout increases, and the quality of education suffers. The district's failure to provide fair compensation and affordable health care is not just hurting teachers, it undermines this whole school community. I ask you to please put yourself in my shoes, an educator with a master's degree, having to work 2 jobs, 14 to 16 hours a day, And even after those long hours, I still have to come home and take care of all household responsibilities that come with being a parent. That is the reality for me and for far too many educators within our school district. I want to be clear, I don't live a lavish life. I don't buy brand name clothes. I don't drive a luxury vehicle. I don't spend irresponsibly or mismanage my money. I live modestly and within my means, yet even with careful budgeting and sacrifice, it's still not enough to stay afloat. I urge you to take immediate, meaningful action to ensure that teachers are compensated fairly and that our pay reflects the rising cost of living. Supporting our educators is the most direct way to support the success and stability of San Ysidro students in our community. Respectfully, Areli Ames, San Ysidro Middle School. Thank you, guys.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Potter. My name is Alan Stellatori. I'm a proud member of San Ysidro Women's Club. I come to share two events that have occurred, or one will occur in December 12th, and that's our teddy bear. We're going to give out, we have 2,000 teddy bears purchased. We're going to give out blankets to all the children. We have to purchase 2,000 blankets and candy canes, and we're going to give each child, besides the teddy bear, give a blanket, a book, and a candy cane. And that's going to be for December 12th, starting at 2:30 to 4:30. It's going to be at Ocean View Hills. And we're very proud that we're going to hopefully have a giant turnout, and we're a beautiful school. We're looking forward to having the board attend our meeting, and also we're going to be selling as fundraisers some sweatshirts. And we came to the board about, I don't know, several months back and highlighted the young lady that we had a contest, and she drew this beautiful picture, and now we have it on our sweatshirts. So we're going to be selling sweatshirts through the school district, and $25 a sweatshirt, and little of the money will go towards paying for our teddy bears. So also I have one more, I have another minute. We're also proud to announce that in 2022, we started what we called an endowment to raise money to have scholarships in perpetuity for our students. And we're proud to say we reached our $500,000 goal. So we have a $500,000, and our students will, the 8th graders will get their incentive award. And then our high school students, only San Ysidro high school students are entitled to apply for our scholarship. And we're very proud that we met our goal. In fact, we exceeded our goal. We have $550,000 in our, what's called the San Diego Foundation. So the two highlights are teddy bear